Welcome to Bubble CRM instructional video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the different options that we can see from the lead that we've just created. So as normal, we open on this dashboard page and we will go directly to the leads tab. And here we can see John Doe, which is the lead that we've created. Now, immediately we can see some of the setup information, right? This person has been assigned an ID, a unique ID. All the other information, cell phone, zip code, and then the designer that we've assigned to it, which was the user that we created in one of the first videos. And then we have the status bar. So in the status bar, it's basically showing all users that have access to this page, which is not just admin. Other designers are able to see this as well. Shows them the status of that specific lead. So when you first enter a lead into the platform, the default status is pending. Now, what that means is that this person perhaps has not yet gone and done the appointment with this potential client, and so the status, as it says here, is pending. Now, if you click that drop-down menu here, you can see a number of other options. Now, all of these represent different stages of the sales process, and the idea is that once all of these have been moved through, then you can click here on converted sale. Now, what's important to note here is that as the admin role, we are able to click converted sale, and we can see here that it says it's changed successfully. However, as the designer, in the designer view, all you can select are a number of the other options. You cannot select converted sale as a designer. And the reason for that is that the designer should be responsible for updating the status of this specific lead based on the different interactions that they're having with that potential client. Only when the designer submits specific documents and in our case a deposit, can then the admin role go in and say, yes, we have received those documents, the plans, and the deposit. Then that admin person can click converted sale. But the designer role does not have the permission to click converted sale here. They only have the permission to select any of the other status updates. So for now, I'll leave it at pending lead. And as we see, it's changed it successfully back. Created on, that's the date we created the lead. And from there, we have this final drop-down menu. From here, if we click that drop-down menu, we have another series of options which we've seen in previous videos, but just to go over some of them to give us a bit of an explanation. So of course, if we click view, then it takes us directly to the lead with all the information that we input when we created John Doe. Edit does the exact same, except the difference between edit and view is that edit, of course, you can make changes. So what I'll do here is just click in just to see. Again, this is the exact same screen that we saw when we were entering the information in for this specific lead, all the way down to who was assigned to it, and then the notes that we input. Now, the only thing that is important to note here is that we have this little notes history button. So if we click that, then we can see a history of the different information that the designer has put in, or perhaps another, say the admin role has received a call and there was an updated gate code we saw at this specific time on this date. Now we can click here and input any additional notes that we get as a designer or as an admin, and we click save, and then that just means that anytime this specific designer or admin goes in, they'll be able to see the updated notes here. So that's a helpful tool to keep everybody informed about any new information. So if you were to have made any updates to the notes history, just click update, and then it brings you back to this main page. Coming back to the action tab, we look at a couple of other options. So delete, that would you'd click delete and it pops up this option, so you'd click yes. In this case, we don't want to delete the lead, we just want to keep going. So appointments, again, in the last video, which is linked to this appointment scheduling option here, we looked at how to create an appointment through this lead. And so if you click this, then it takes you directly to the appointments tab with the calendar, and that's where you select the different time and designer to go on an appointment. And then if you delete it, then it will automatically bring up this pop-up menu. If you select yes delete, it will delete any associated appointments with that lead. So in this case, we're going to not delete all of the appointments associated with it. And then finally, we have these three options, which we'll go into further detail as they are really essential parts of the platform. But for now, that gives you an overview of the different actions possible related to each specific lead.